All right, let's talk about a quarter beef. A quarter beef's a little bit more tricky. So some people will say, "Oh, am I getting the front or the hind quarter?" Well, you're not. We're taking the half beef and we're just sorting it out so that you each get the very same weight. So we're just going to say we have 100 packages, which we want 100 packages of hamburger that comes off a half. We're going to give 50 to one, 50 to the other. So it's a very fair process. But let's go through what comes off so you can understand how your quarter will work. All right, we're going to start with roasts. When you call into Greenleaf Meats, Shirley will answer the phone, and you're just going to tell her over the phone what you want. You don't have to do any writing, any sending. She will do this for you. She's going to possibly not go in this order, but we're going to start out with roasts, and she's going to ask you on your chuck or shoulder roast, arm roast, what size you want, 2 to 3 pounds or 3 to 4 pounds. Okay, typically everyone keeps their chuck and arm roasts for slow cooking. They're delicious. She'll ask, I don't know if she'll ask you, but you can keep your portion of the brisket. It would be cut in half from into your quarter. Here's where we get into trouble. If you want your rump roast and your tri-tip, whoever's splitting with you is going to, if they also want it, they don't have any system about it. They don't know who you are, and so they're not going to say, oh, this person got it last time, this next person got it this time. They're just going to give one of you the rump, one of you the tri-tip based on weight, because there's only one per half of beef. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, then on your sirloin tip, you can go steaks or roasts. So it's just your choice, what you want to do there. Okay, let's move down into steaks. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 2 highlighted ones. And just so we're clear here, there's only 1 to 2 big ones cut on a flat iron. And then he leaves the flank whole on a half as well. So if you want flat and flank, and the other person who's getting a quarter wants flat and flank, they're just going to choose, one of you will get flank, one of you will get flat. All right, but you're always going to get the same amount of weight, if that makes sense. Okay, you're also going to choose if you want your rib steaks boneless or if you want them bone-in. So a ribeye is boneless, rib steaks are bone-in. If you would like a prime rib roast, then you'll ask to leave that whole, and they usually leave that bone-in for you. I believe you can get it boneless as well, though. All right, you'll tell them if you want your skirt steaks, your top sirloin steaks, and then we move down to the T-bone area. So if you want bone-in steaks, you're going to do all T-bones. They'll get bigger as you go down the loin. So you'll have some really big T-bones and then some smaller ones. If you want them boneless, though, then it turns into a New York and a tenderloin. So then you get New York steaks and tenderloin steaks. You could also turn your tenderloin into a roast. That just means leaving it whole. And this is also called your filet mignon. Okay, now let's be clear. After this, we're going to go into some cuts that aren't as popular, I guess. And so the more you have cut into roasts and steaks and other types of things, the less ground beef you're going to get. So anything you don't get goes straight to ground beef. Okay, so if you love ground beef and you use it a lot, I would maybe look through this last part of the list and think, you know what, I really probably won't use that, so let's just put that into grind. Okay, on your ribs, you could do short ribs. Those are for slow cooking, and you can also request your back ribs. That's to be a rack for the barbecuer. You go down to your round. Your round you could request into steaks. Those are going to be tougher. People often slow cook those. You could do a roast with this. You could have it cut into stew or fajita meat. He'll cube it up for you. People take it and make jerky out of it. You could do a few different things. Your flapper blade meat, most people will have cut carne asada style or send it to ground beef. Shank, the same there. It's a lesser known cut. It's a love-hate. You either like it or you don't. And it can go into ossobuco or ground beef. Now she's going to ask you if you want a 1.5, or 2 pound package on all of your ground beef. They do not do patties. And then let's talk about organs. We've talked about that. So there could be 4 people splitting your beef. If you're the only one who wants the organs, by all means, come and get them here at the farm. I'll pull them for you and put them in a Ziploc bag, flash freeze them, and you can come grab them. If everyone wants them, we kind of have to do a little bit of sharing. Okay, bones and fat though, you can request those from Greenleaf. They go with the animal, and you can let them know, hey, I'd like a bag of bones for broth making, or for dogs, or for soup bones. You can request your marrow bones. If you'd like a bag of fat to render, let them know. And then she probably will ask you about trim. That just means when they're cutting all these, there'll be pieces of trim that fall on the table, and they'll cube them up and make them into stew meat if you use that more, or they could just go into ground beef. Okay, I hope that this has helped. Reach out if you have any more questions, but this should give you a better idea of how your quarter is going to work.